It's Marlene and Mark from AAA-AMC. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, Mark and I were going to talk about a few things that we've been facing with some of our appraisers. So I'll give you an example. HUD requires that we have to mention for especially FHA report if the subject meet or does not meet the compliance or the requirement.
That's correct, and it's very clear in the guidelines. Does the property meet minimum property standards and minimum property requirements, or does not? And the issue that we've run into is appraisers not using a definitive term where they say the property appears to meet. And we've had some pushback from our lender clients. Clearly, they don't like the term appears. It's too wishy-washy. It's not clear that the property does or does not meet. So if you're doing an FHA appraisal for us, please make sure you use the term the property does meet the minimum property standards or it does not. And if it does not, of course, you need to expand on that and tell the story as to why it doesn't meet the MPS and the MPRs and describe it, and then of course make your report subject to the completion of those repairs to bring it up to minimum property requirements and standards. But we've had appraisers use kind of indefinite terms such as that the subject property appears to meet. And we've received pushback from our lender clients because they're looking for that definitive term, property does or does not. So keep that in mind. The next thing I'd like to remind you about the FHA appraisals is some of our appraisers are neglecting to put in the listing comps. Now remember, FHA requires listing comps. It's not a lender-client requirement. It's not a AAA-AMC requirement. It's an FHA requirement. So you are required to put in those two listing comps. Of course, one could be listing, one could be pending or whatever, but they have to be non-sales, so a listing or pending.
I know we've been facing sometimes, or some of our appraisers are facing, when they receive a complex property.
Well, a complex property can be, with $1 million, multi-million-dollar estate in Malibu. It could be a condominium in Vegas that there have been no sales in the last 2 years. It's not necessarily the size of the property or the design or anything. There's a factor that goes within the appraisal process that's creating a problem. Typically, they're a unique property where there are no perfect model match comps for it. You have to remember, as an appraiser, you're allowed to expand your comp search in both time and distance to find appropriate sales to use for comps. The old guidelines or underwriting guidelines of no more than a year old, no more than a mile away, those were all retired by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac about 2 years ago. So remember, if you do have a unique property that does create a complex appraisal assignment, you are allowed to expand that comp search in time and distance as far forward or as far out as distance as necessary or back in time as necessary to find sales that are truly similar to the subject property that you can use for comps. All you got to do is explain it in the report. You need to explain why you did it. A simple statement, there were no better sales or listings available in the market, so I expanded to a nearby neighborhood. Here's your listing comps. And if it is truly a complex report and you just don't know what to do with it, refer to the AAA tips letter that we send you with the appraisal assignment. It has my contact information in it, and I probably have seen it or appraised it before and know how to handle that process or that particular problem. Take the time, give me a call, send me an email. I'll reach back out to you and go over the process with you and make sure you understand what you need to do so you get that report done correctly the first time.
Yes, I think it's a great idea. Thank you, Mark. He's a very friendly guy, very knowledgeable. You'll be very happy to talk to him. You can always reach out to him. If I were you, I'll always take advantage of that.
The last thing we need you to do is delay. Don't just sit on the report and then after the lender client is screaming and hollering for the report, throw your hands up and go, I can't do it. If it's a problem property, let us know up front. I'll work with you. We'll try to determine what's the best way to approach the valuation problem. And truly, if it's a property that you can't handle the process with, we'll take the assignment back from you and we'll place it with another appraiser. We just want to make sure that you as the appraiser are doing everything that you can to get a credible appraisal written the first time without a delay to the customer. And if we can accomplish that working together as a team, AAA will continue to grow. We'll be able to give you more business down the road.
Exactly. Thank you, Mark. Again, I hope this video blog today was beneficial for all of us. And thank you again for tuning in. Thank you, Mark, for being with me and sharing this video blog. And I hope you all have a great day. Bye now.
So long.